Good evening, you gloriously bored humans who clicked this instead of learning how to parallel park. I'm your narrator, your comedian, and your emotional support turn signal. If you stay till the end, you'll realize you've been in the exact same ridiculous argument I had last week. With my GPS, I used to think it was a helpful tool. Now I'm convinced it is a passive-aggressive life coach with satellites. You ever notice how the GPS never raises its voice? It just waits. It's the calm of a therapist who already knows you are about to make the wrong turn. In 200 feet, turn left, and I'm like, no, I know a faster way. That sentence has ruined more weekends than group projects. The moment you defy it, the car gets quiet in a way that feels judgmental. Then you hear the sigh of doom. Recalculating, that is not a word. That is a spiritual diagnosis. I swear the GPS doesn't navigate roads. It navigates your pride, and it always leads you to the semi-destination, humility. So there I am, driving with full human confidence, window down, music up, ego inflated like a parade balloon. The GPS says, turn left, and I say, no, I've got this. I know a shortcut. You ever notice we talk to the GPS like it's our ex? You don't know me anymore. The car falls silent, like it's bracing for impact, emotional, not physical. 5 minutes later, I'm knee-deep in a residential labyrinth where every street is named after a tree and none of them lead to civilization. Recalculating, the voice sounds calmer this time, almost smug. Like it's saying, oh, so you think you're better than satellites? It's in that moment you realize something terrifying. You've entered a relationship with your GPS. It knows your habits, your weaknesses, your favorite gas stations. It even remembers that time you ignored it for a shortcut that ended in a dead end and tears. You can delete your search history, but not your shame. You ever notice how the GPS always wins, but it never gloats? That's the most insulting part. It's like arguing with a Buddhist monk who has Wi-Fi. It just repeats calmly, make a U-turn when possible, over and over. No anger, no tone, just quiet domination. Meanwhile, I'm yelling at the dashboard like, no, Karen, I know a faster route. Then it gets petty. It stops talking for a while, pure silence. And that silence hurts more than any words. You start begging your own GPS for communication. Say something. Anything I can change. Eventually, it breaks the silence with that passive-aggressive dagger. Recalculating. That word has layers. It's not just about roads, it's about your life choices. Once, I tried to teach the GPS a better route. I said, see, I told you this way's faster. Then I looked up and I was in a Taco Bell parking lot. 20 minutes late and full of regret. At this point, I realized something dark. The GPS isn't giving directions, it's conducting an IQ test. And I'm failing in HD. And then comes the moment of truth. The climax of stupidity. I ignore every single instruction, make one last brilliant turn and end up in a cul-de-sac so empty it feels like my dating life. The GPS waits a full 5 seconds before speaking. That pause? That's the digital version of an eye roll. Then, in the most polite tone imaginable, it says, arrived at destination. Really? This a dead end? That's my destination? I just sat there, engine running, questioning my entire existence. Maybe the GPS isn't lost. Maybe I am. And the worst part was right the whole time. The GPS didn't get lost. I got lost arguing with a robot that literally has access to space. So yeah, I arrived at my destination, rock bottom. That's when it hit meth. GPS isn't wrong. It's patient, like a saint with Bluetooth. It never yells, never gives up. It just quietly waits for me to admit I'm an idiot. It's basically the world's calmest therapist. When you're ready, we'll turn around. And I started realizing every make a U-turn when possible wasn't about driving. It was about my life. Every time I mess up, the GPS of the universe just whispers, recalculating. It's gentle, it's wise, and it's judging me so softly I almost feel safe. But of course, I didn't learn the lesson right away. Because the next day, guess who argued with it again? So the next day, I tell myself, this time, I'll listen. Spoiler, I didn't. I'm on my way to meet a friend. And the GPS goes, turn right, and my ego goes, no, I'll take the scenic route because apparently, I think detours build character. 2 minutes later, recalculating. 5 minutes later, make a U-turn when possible. 10 minutes later, I'm in a cornfield wondering if this is still America. Every recalculating sounds less like guidance and more like disappointment. It's like being haunted by a disappointed math teacher, and the pattern repeats every drive, every day. I ignore it, argue, get lost, come crawling back. It's basically a toxic relationship with a voice that can't even roll its eyes. I've tried everything, yelling, muting, even switching to the male voice. Didn't help. Now I'm just being judged by Brad. At this point, I realized something horrifying. The GPS isn't my enemy. It's my mirror. It doesn't get mad, it just shows me who's truly lost. Remember at the start when I said I knew where I was going? Turns out, I didn't even know who I was anymore. I started this drive thinking I was in control. Now, I'm just a man obeying a voice that says turn left with more authority than my parents ever had. And it's funny because every time I try to outsmart it, I hear that same monotone judgment, recalculating. It's like the universe reminding me, you're still dumb, but at least you're moving. I used to think GPS stood for Global Positioning System. Now I'm convinced it means God's Patience Simulator. So maybe the GPS isn't guiding us to place, it's guiding us to humility. Every U-turn is a reminder that I'm not just lost on the road. I'm lost in life. The only one recalculating is the universe, trying to work around my bad decisions. Now when my GPS says, proceed to the route, I whisper back, I'm trying, because honestly, who among us isn't recalculating every 5 minutes? We're all out here pretending to know the way, ignoring every sign, and ending up at the same destination, mildly embarrassed but somehow wiser. So, to all my fellow lost souls, next time that little voice says make a U-turn, just listen. It's not mocking you, it's saving you from yourself. Thanks for tuning in, you directionally challenged champions. And remember, trust the robot. It knows more than your ego ever will.